Markets all in the red today. The focus on here right now for crypto is going to be Bitcoin. As always, it is still the driver of this crypto market. Bitcoin dominance is climbing back up to about 59%. This is the move that we're going to be anticipating here because I've been talking about this pattern for a while now, and this is a rising wedge pattern that you guys should definitely be paying attention to because Bitcoin is basically at this bottom trend line of this rising wedge pattern. If this thing breaks, that is not going to be looking good for your altcoins. Okay, if Bitcoin dumps, your altcoins are going to be dumping as well. As we are seeing today, there are a few exceptions, but if Bitcoin goes on an extensive downtrend, I really don't think these altcoin pumps are going to be lasting. So let's go ahead and explore a few scenarios for Bitcoin here as we get into the video later. We're also going to be diving into some major economics and crypto news, as well as a few altcoin setups. Let's see what's happening with a few of these altcoins here. We're going to be taking a look into Avantis, which is AVNT. That's Avantis. Okay, what is the symbol for that? It's going to be AVNT. And then we're going to be taking a look into Spark SPK and Sushiswap. See what's happening in these coins here. Has their setups changed? Has their price targets changed? Of course, we're going to be talking a lot about Bitcoin because if this Bitcoin drop actually happens, that's going to be very bad for the altcoins. Cannot stress that enough. Let's go ahead and dive into some news first. I'll give you guys my instant reactions to some major headlines here before getting into the charts. First piece here is going to be by Coinpedia. Top altcoins to buy before October 2025. So everyone's been talking about a crash September. I mean, this September has it's been fluctuating within about a 10% range, all right? I wouldn't really call this a crash. It has not been very bullish, right? But there has been some bullish news, like the Federal Reserve cutting interest rates. That is one of my key arguments to why this bull cycle is still early, okay? So let's go ahead and take a look into some of these top altcoins to buy for October 2025, according to this piece here, right? According to this news here, it is going to be top trending tokens in the current market is going to be Ethereum. Yeah, that's a no-brainer because I think in order for altcoins like the total 3 markets, which is basically all altcoins excluding Ethereum, to reach all-time highs, it's already tapped all-time highs at about 1.17 trillion, but in order for it to really pull away, you want to see Ethereum to really pull away from its all-time highs, which it also has made near $5,000 a couple of weeks ago, okay? So, yeah, in order for altcoins to really pump, you want to see Ethereum really pump through its all-time highs. All right, next, of course, is Bitcoin. Okay, this person is talking about Bitcoin, XRP. These are no-brainers. These are like bigger altcoins, way bigger altcoins. Next one here is going to be HoloWorld. HoloWorld AI. I have not heard of that. Let's take a look into what kind of market cap that is. Is that a small market cap? Holo. It is a small cap. 96 million market cap. Well, we'll see. I mean, I think all of these altcoins are going to pump as long as their projects don't go under. As if Bitcoin, continues its bull cycle. I am long on Bitcoin. I am long on quite a bit of the altcoins here. So my opinions on this market is bullish. But like the entirety of this video, these are just my opinions and not financial advice. You gotta form your own opinions and strategies. So let's go ahead and go to next piece here. It's gonna be by News BTC. FundStrat's Tom Lee sees Bitcoin tripling. Ether rising 5x by year end. That's such a bold statement? I'm not sure if that's going to be possible. So let's read a little bit more into this. According to reports, I'm not sure if those reports are credible. Lee gave a range for Bitcoin of 200,000 to 250,000. I think 200,000 to 250,000 is within the cards, but I think with a lower probability. Okay, I see maybe 150, 180. I think those are more probable. I think there's a lower chance that 200K, 250K may happen by year end. Ethereum hitting 10,000 to 12,000, possibly. Okay, so still a lot of bullish sentiment in this market despite this dip. I am not discouraged by this dip. So let's just go ahead and go to the next piece here. Our next piece here is by Crypto Potato. Bitcoin community reacts to Ethereum's dip below 4K. I mean, it was a very small dip below 4K. I don't think it's surprising to see price action dip below a big round number and then bounces back. I mean, that could be a scenario. Of course, I'm not saying that it can't continue further down, but I'm just saying it's not uncommon to see price action dip below a major number like 4,000 and fluctuate around that number before deciding on the direction of the next move. Next piece here is by Coinpedia. How low can Bitcoin go? We're going to take a look into a few scenarios here on my charts, right? Let's see if there's any obvious notes on where this author indicates Bitcoin could go. Okay. Let's see here. Key levels to watch. 111K. Yeah, we're there, right? There's quite a bit of support at 110K. And then followed by a key zone in 107 to 108. I don't see much at 107, 108. I see the next piece here, which is going to be 104, which is basically where the daily 200 SMA is at. But I do see pretty strong support here at 110, 111. Okay, and I'll show you guys why I think that is. All right, next piece here. We're running out of good news for today, or even interesting news for today. You guys know that I explore both sides of the news. I explore both bullish and bearish news and see what makes sense, because I think in this market it's very important to be open-minded and not just focus on one direction, because I think that could really trap you, right? If you're just focused on going one direction. I think you just have to focus on more logic, right? And the validity of your arguments. Now, the next piece here is an idea published by a trader in TradingView. It says, trading is hard. Lessons from the market's brutality. Yes, trading is hard. I've been in this market for 5+ years, and I've seen the crashes. I've seen the panic. I've seen the euphoria as well. I think that's what keeps me going, because I think at the end of the day, reaching that just that victory there, getting the win, getting just that profit, that really makes it worth it. Not just in the bull market, but also in the bear market as well. I am looking to really profit from the upcoming bear market as well. But of course, the bull market's going to be a lot more euphoric. So let's go ahead and read into some of this, what this post has to say, right? So trading is hard, lessons from the market's brutality. Woke up today to news that reminds us just how unforgiving this game is. Yes, in the past 24 hours, over 404,000 traders were liquidated. I heard about that. That was, I think that was maybe a couple of days ago now, right? The total liquidations reaching 1.7 billion. Yes. But was that the dip that I would be capitulating in? No. That's, at least personally, no. You guys do you, okay? So, the brutality of trading, let's see, the market doesn't care how smart, strong, or experienced you are, it will humble you, yes. Despite me surviving this market for the last 5+ years and still having profited from this market for over the 5+ years, there still has been mistakes. I think the mistakes are gonna continuously come. That's why it's very important to risk manage. You're gonna hear that term a lot. What does it mean? To me, it means having a plan for the what ifs that could happen in this market, right? So, for example, what if the market takes another dip right now to 104K? I'm not saying it is, but what if it does? Then my plan would be to make sure that my leverage positions don't get liquidated, and if I have dry powder, I'm gonna take I'm gonna put in more longs here, right? Because I'm still bullish on this market, but that is just me. All right, let's go ahead and go to the charts here. This is the weekly time frame, and this is what I'm talking about here. This is basically it. Bitcoin is at the bottom trend line of this huge rising wedge pattern. If this thing breaks down, the breakdown target will be under 80K. But there's quite a bit of support underneath the price action right now, okay? Uh, Including the weekly 21 SMA, which is basically at about 111,000. That is a support. The 3-day 50 SMA, that is going to be, I mean, it basically tapped that already about a couple of hours ago at about 110K. The gray line here, basically pretty in line with this bottom trend line here. Okay, let's take a look into some short-term scenarios and see if there are any potential reversal ideas. This is the 6-hour time frame, and there is divergence, bullish divergence on the 6-hour time frame, okay? Which is basically you have lower or equal lows, but higher or equal lows on the RSI. That is usually indicative of a reversal or a bounce. Let's see how far this bounce gets Bitcoin, okay? Because if it doesn't get as far, then if we're looking weak here, then I mean the potential breakdown here is going to be higher. Now, I also want to explore one additional scenario here that I am bringing it up today because this is still hypothetical. Now, it is very important for Bitcoin to break above this trend line here. Now, this is the daily time frame. Why is that? Because if Bitcoin does not break above this upper trend line, then this could form some type of a falling wedge pattern, which is pretty common to see for breakdowns of a rising wedge pattern. Then I could be estimating a falling wedge pattern with the bottom trend line. I'm gonna track the daily 200 SMA with my a hypothetical bottom trend line here, okay? Because that's gonna be the next key support I'll be looking at if we start breaking some of these supports that we're on right now. So that's basically what I'm seeing for Bitcoin. Let's go ahead and go to some altcoins now. All right, we're going to be taking a look into Spark first, SPK USDT. See what's going on in this market here. I talked about, so this is a pretty new coin, right? I talked about a falling wedge pattern here on this daily time frame. Broke out of it back on September 4th, okay? And the breakout target here, price target would be about 11 cents price targets. Now, price targets are estimates only. There could be more, there could be less, okay? In this case, for altcoins cases, it's going to depend a lot on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin starts dumping these altcoin setups, they're not going to be worth very much. So pay attention to Bitcoin first, okay? And since the breakout here, it has formed a falling wedge pattern that has broken to the downside. However, the bulls are actually trying to buy this up and invalidate this breakout here, okay? Break down here. What you want to look for is what is the highest time frame that this falling wedge is valid on? I think it's the daily time frame. So in order to invalidate this breakdown here, for Spark to invalidate this breakdown, you want to see a daily candle close back within this smaller falling wedge pattern. Now, this bigger falling wedge pattern breakout is still valid because the price action is technically still above this upward trend line of this falling wedge pattern. Let's go ahead and go to Avantis, AVNT, USD, and see what's happening with this newer coin here. So this coin has had quite a bit of a show here, okay? Went from about 20 cents all the way up to about $2.70 almost. So it made some pretty good multiples in a matter of days, okay? Let's take a look into what this coin could be doing and some possible retracement ideas. So let's take a look into 6-hour time frame, where there has been very oversold RSI readings here. Basically broke below the short-term 6-hour 21 SMA, right? That's what I usually look for in terms of uptrends, right? The shorter term moving averages, right? Especially the 21 SMA. So if it broke through the 6-hour 21 SMA, which was the blue line, the next key level I'll be looking at would be the 12-hour 21 SMA. That's currently sitting about $1.55 right now, the blue line. Now, there is a scenario here with a possible falling wedge, right? I don't have an exact falling wedge here because I don't have three upper candles on the upper trend line, right? Or three. Well, I think this is close enough. Okay, I think this is close enough for a falling wedge. I don't have exactly three candles, at least three candles on the upper trend line here, but I think this is close enough for a falling wedge. And that is just me. That's just my opinion. And basically, if this thing actually breaks back out to the upside here, let's just say, for example, right here, then the price target would be about $2.90. Now, falling wedges has a higher chance of breaking to the upside. However, also have to mind the downside as well because they still have a smaller chance of breaking down. So that is basically what I'm seeing for Avantis. Let's see if the 12-hour 21 SMA holds the price action, and let's see if it breaks out of this falling wedge idea. Let's go ahead and go to Sushiswap. Sushiswap here. Let's take a look into this is the weekly time frame. I talked about a rising wedge pattern here for Sushiswap. Let's zoom out a little bit more because I talked about also a double bottom pattern here on this monthly time frame. Double bottoms are bullish patterns that usually break to the upside. Now, the neckline of this double bottom would be about $2.85. Price target would be about $5.20. Now, let's zoom in a little bit. I talked about this rising wedge pattern for Sushiswap. Breakdown target would be about 39 cents. Would Sushi get all the way to 39 cents? Something to be watching out for. Let's take a look into a smaller time frame here. I'm going to chart this live for you guys right now. It looks like this is a falling wedge pattern on the daily time frame. Falling wedges usually break to the upside. Let's just say if Sushi breaks to the upside here, for example, that could potentially invalidate this bigger rising wedge breakdown, okay? There's quite a bit of resistance to get back over, including your daily moving averages. So this is basically what I'm seeing for Sushi, Avantis, Spark. Let me know if you guys want to continue seeing any more of these coins or any other coins in this market by dropping a like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next one.